square kilometre, earning the nickname Grid Speed Removal System.
This small business tip is brought to you by WSFS Bank's Candace Caruso. At WSFS, we stand for service.
Many of the most successful small businesses lean in and use assets to their advantage in any economic environment. From purchasing real estate to buying or leasing equipment, work closely with your lender to identify ways to leverage your small business's assets for growth opportunities.
Watch WSFS Bank salute small businesses on Kelly Drives every week in May.
For bold, decisive action.
It's a race against time.
Sea slugs,
Coffees, ketamine,
sexual pleasure,
cuteness,
food, camouflage, slick stop, baseball,
tennis,
firefighting, super subs.
fast radio bursts, solar sailing.
The US Army's M270 was deployed during Operation Desert Storm. During the 1983 conflict, the multiple launch rocket system blasted Iraqi targets with over 10,000 rockets. The fully tracked M270 can unleash a sudden and targeted firestorm from the protection of its armored hull and then flee over the most unforgiving terrain. Supplementing traditional artillery, the M270 can deliver a mix of 12 guided and unguided surface-to-surface missiles. Its electronic fire control system can fire all 12 rounds in succession in less than 60 seconds. Each rocket contains 644 submunitions, grenades that are armed during freefall, delivering over 7,000 blasts on targets over 32 kilometers away. The M270 can also be used to launch the long-range Guided Army Tactile Missile System. Using GPS technology, these ballistic missiles can strike targets more than 300 kilometers away, delivering a high volume of devastating firepower at lightning-fast speeds. The M270 is now in service with over 14 countries across the globe. The inception of heavy artillery caused battlefields to stretch to unprecedented scales. As the First World War played stage to the supergun, targets over 100 kilometers away were suddenly in reach. From atomic weapons designed to decimate thousands, to intelligent howitzers providing infantry support, heavy artillery forever changed the way wars were fought and won. Shells blasted from this howitzer traveled at 3 times the speed of a Boeing 747. With over 40,000 rounds fired since its relatively recent battlefield debut, its wide range of innovations have resulted in the most accurate piece of artillery in history, the M777 howitzer. The M777 first saw action in Afghanistan in 2005. Innovatively constructed from titanium and aluminium, it is relatively lightweight and rapidly deployable. Weighing just 4,100 kilograms, the M777 can be transported by helicopter, providing amazing operational flexibility. A 155mm howitzer, the M777 can strike precise targets thousands of meters away, regardless of terrain and obstacles. The gun's digital fire control system is used to calculate the variables required for a pinpoint strike, whilst allowing the M777 to be teamed with advanced rounds such as the Excalibur GPS guided munition. So accurate is the Excalibur, it can be used to strike targets within just 75 meters of friendly troops. Once the Excalibur is fired, it deploys its fins. A GPS system manipulates the fins, guiding the round's trajectory. This system is so effective that the gun can be aimed 20 degrees off target, yet still deliver an accurate strike. It even has a built-in failsafe that disarms the warhead if it has strayed too far off course. In June 2012, the M777 made history when it dropped an Excalibur round on insurgents 36 kilometers away. It was the longest operational shot in history. Setting the standard for sophisticated precision fire support, the M777 is the pinnacle of big gun technology and fearsome firepower. Known as the Black Dragon, this monstrous piece of weaponry weighed over 29 tons. First entering service with the US Army in World War II, it was their heaviest piece of field artillery in existence, the M1 howitzer. As Allied forces struggled to liberate Italy from the Nazis, their troops became stuck at the Gustav Line. To divert German resources, Winston Churchill planned amphibious landings at Anzio on Italy's west coast. The goal was to break the line and capture Rome. The initial beach landing of January 1944 was a success for the Allies, but they became pinned down by the Germans, and months of fighting ensued. With a barrel length measuring over 8 meters, the M1 entered battle for the first time, striking down opposing artillery.
From carefully concealed positions, the Big Berthas of the Army speak.
After months of bitter fighting, the Allies broke past the beach and went on to capture Rome. The Black Dragon's devastating firepower and incredible accuracy was credited for its role in the victory. Although they were largely retired after World War II, these enormous guns would once again be called upon during war in Korea. The US Army had encountered Chinese fortifications impervious to smaller artillery weapons. 12 Black Dragons were sent to the front line to eliminate these enemy strongholds. On May the 1st, 1953, the first ceremonial shot fired from an M1 struck a communist ammunition depot. The lucky strike caused a chain reaction that would obliterate an entire hilltop. The Black Dragon had arrived. To detect enemy batteries concealed in the mountainous landscapes, US troops employed a strategy known as sound ranging to locate and respond to artillery attacks.
Those are sound detectors the crew is setting up. Placed in different positions, they'll pick up from several angles the sound of an enemy gun.
The sound wave of a single artillery shot would reach each microphone at a different time. The variance in the time would then be calculated and the map coordinates determined before the information was relayed to the Artillery Fire Direction Center.
Within seconds, the order goes out to an artillery battery. And for an enemy gun crew slamming shells into our lines, this may be a death warrant.
A mere 3 months after the Black Dragon's arrival in Korea, 5,943 shells had been fired.
And Doug.
Okay, here's what you want to do. Save hundreds when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
Are you a caddy?
No, I'm a Doug, and that's a Limo.
Okay, I'm gonna putt now.
Okay, I'm gonna watch you putt.
Oh!
Nice birdie.
Yes, he is a very nice bird.
Oh no, Limo! The cards!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
In the garden and in life, the smallest things can grow a world of good. a place where kindness blooms like honeysuckle, and countertops smell like lavender fields, where garden variety is anything but. Bathrooms blossom with lemon verbena, and it's okay to take the garden path less traveled. You can grow a world of good. We're just here to plant the seeds. Visit Myers. See what good can grow.
Eddie Lamar was sitting at a piano next to George Antile. They were creating something with the potential to change the course of the world. Give users a way of showing their support for a post with one click. And it forever altered the way in which we perceive the world.
Obsessed with destructive power, Adolf Hitler would push the Nazi war machine to create some of the largest artillery pieces in history. Designed to take advantage of Europe's vast railway networks, this heavy artillery piece was able to move far and relatively fast. The Krupp K5 railway gun. Enlisting the Krupp family, a 400-year-old German weapons dynasty, Hitler commissioned 25 enormous 283mm guns that could be transported by rail. Each K5 battery of 2 guns required 3 trains for transportation, a train for each of the guns, and a third for the 85 troops, of whom 42 were the gun crew, plus ammunition and supplies. With a range of 64 kilometers, the K5 could hit targets well out of ordinary sight. In order to gain accurate positions, a spotter would be sent up in an observation balloon. Their findings would then be relayed to fire detectors, who would compute fire data, taking into account a myriad of factors, including the curvature of the Earth. The K5's 21.5-meter-long rifled barrel provided great accuracy, with deep spiral grooves causing the 265-kilogram shells to spin as they shot out of the barrel, providing the projectiles with greater aerodynamic stability. During the Battle of Anzio, the Nazis unleashed an artillery barrage designed to drive the Allies back into the ocean. 2 K5 guns nicknamed Anzio Annie and the Anzio Express caused over 22,000 casualties as they rained down shells on 70,000 Allied troops attempting to break out of the secure beaches below the Orphan Hills. Inflicting both physical and psychological damage, these behemoths were some of the most successful railway guns of World War II. Until they were finally captured by the Allies during their ultimate victory at Anzio. Throughout the Cold War, muscle flexing on both sides of the Iron Curtain led to a series of technological developments in nuclear weaponry. In a demonstration of United States power, President Eisenhower's 1953 inauguration parade showcased a stockpile of weapons. Amongst the missiles and servicemen, there was a lone cannon capable of unleashing nuclear rounds, the N-65 atomic cannon. In the early stages of the Cold War, the Pentagon designed the world's first and only nuclear gun. Known as Atomic Annie, the 280mm towed cannon was capable of wiping out entire enemy divisions with a blast from a single shell, exceeding 13,000 tons of TNT. Measuring over 25 meters and weighing over 77 tons, she was the largest road-mobile artillery piece ever built. Named after the captured Nazi Anzio Annie gun, Atomic Annie was deftly maneuvered by road. 2 tractors with independent steering transported her along America's highways, their individual drivers communicating via a built-in telephone system. Once at her destination, she could be ready to fire in as little as 15 minutes. Whereas the Annie needed a crew of 85, Atomic Annie needed just 7.
The shell is driven home by hydraulic rammer, and next, the heavy powder charge to propel it.
On the 25th of May 1953, a single 385-kilogram shell was successfully fired from Atomic Annie across the desert of the Nevada test site. 9 seconds later, the shell exploded. The catastrophic blast throwing debris 152 meters in all directions.
A mushroom of smoke rises more than 20 miles away in the first pictures released by the Defense Department of America's new atomic weapon in action.
After the successful test, 20 of the M65 cannons were produced and sent to strategic locations throughout Europe and Korea. Despite their potential destructive power, the test firing was the only time that a nuclear warhead was ever shot from an artillery piece. Rapid developments in nuclear technology enabled lighter rockets and missiles to deliver long-range atomic strikes. But the mere presence of atomic artillery served as a deterrent, reminding all of the horrific potential of history's